Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Jeremy Medeiros from Bermuda Government Terrestrial Conservation Officer, and JP Ruja from Nonsuch Expeditions. And we're out here on Nonsuch Island on Friday, the 14th of May, 2021. And we've been waiting the last 2 days. We've had rainy conditions, windy conditions. It's still a bit windy. But the rain has cleared for the time being. It's beautiful and sunny. There's tropic birds flying all over the place right now. And we're out here to do a quick check of both cahal chicks and our first bandings of them, the bigger ones, and some of the newly hatched tropic bird chicks, including our long-tail cam chick, who must be about 3 weeks old now. Actually, more than that. Ooh, I have to think about that. Yeah, it's probably about 3.5 weeks old, more or less. Growing rapidly. I've not been able to do many checks because I've had many other projects underway. Weather has been generally very windy and such, and so in 2 weeks it basically went from 53 grams up to 191 grams. It's being fed regularly for those of you that are watching the long-tail cam, regularly, and if you're not, you should be, because they're very interesting birds. We really know in some ways less about them than we do about the cahals, because we've been peeking into the sort of nest life of cahals for a number of years now. With the long-tails or tropic birds, it's much less. The neat thing here in Nonsuch, we have 6 of these artificial igloo nests, which are installed along the stairway coming up from the main dock on Nonsuch. And out of these, all 3 of them on the top sort of wall here, all of them now have hatched chicks. The first one was our long-tail cam chick that hatched way back in April. And followed about 5 days later by the lower one, the 836 nest. The long-tail cam one is 837, and 838 just hatched. That's a very recently hatched downy chick. So it looks like 3 to 4 days old. So all 3 of these nests have chicks in them, which is great. It's easy to monitor these. But it is overdue to take a look at our little long-tail cam nest, or a tropic bird cam nest. And so that's the first order of business today. We're going to take a look and see how it's doing. Now, I know. Yeah, it gets to be a little bit, oh boy, is he growing. He's certainly growing by leaps and bounds. He's not the tiny little fluff ball that was about the size of his head now. When he was first hatched, the first time I had him in hand, his whole size, he wasn't much bigger than his head. But you can see his legs are almost fully developed, almost adult size. You can see the scales on him. The bill has really developed just in about the last week since I weighed him last. He's a good weight, I can feel that. So his parents are very good. They've been nesting together in this nest since at least 2018, because I've banded both of the adults and I can tell who's nesting with who and what nests from year to year. And they've been very, very successful at producing chicks. And you can see this chick is so quickly growing, so advanced, it's already starting to develop the little contour feathers, body feathers here on its shoulders or scapulars, and the first little feather sheaths are even coming in on its wings. I mean, these wings, when I first measured it, there wasn't much more than about this. It was tiny little buds. But these birds grow very rapidly, much more rapidly than the cahal chicks. And they fledge in only about 65 to 70 days. Cahal chicks take up to 95 days or more, even over 100 days sometimes. So we'll take them up. It's a beautiful chick, and because it's been handled a couple of times, it's not overly worried. You can see it's actually ridiculously calm. It's even got little tiny sheaths coming in on his tail, his rear end here. But it's a very healthy chick. So we're going to put him into our small chick size bag, which is a little smaller and lighter than the usual ones. Okay, So he continues to grow. He is now, let's see, 257. So 257. So that's 247. 242 grams. 242. So his basically increased about 50 grams more in the last week. So 242 grams. But yeah, he's growing well. He's being fed a regular diet, probably mainly small squid, but also small like ocean robins and flying fish and stuff like that. Flying fish in particular is quite an important food for tropic birds. They can be quite large, but obviously the parents, they judge and they try to catch smaller ones when the chicks are smaller. Same thing with squids. Although the chicks are capable of taking quite enormous meals that look bigger than them, the body of the prey item can often look bigger than the body of the chicken. You wonder how it fits in. Well, it just folds up neatly. Okay, it's already 50 millimeters. I believe it was like 27 millimeters the last one. 50 millimeters. So it's almost doubled in about a week. Pretty close to it. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is I'm going to look at its lower leg length or tarsus. And to do that, I have to gently turn it up. And you can see these feet, for the size of the chick, are already quite large. They're not full size, obviously. That won't be for a couple of weeks yet. But they are the first body part of the chick to reach full adult size. And that's so that they can move around in the nest, potentially from danger or whatever. And look at those wings. They're really growing. Okay, so it's 24.7 millimeters. 24.7. Now, that just shows you how quickly the legs develop, because an adult tropic bird, its tarsus length isn't much more than, say, about 26.9 or up to about 28.5. So it's almost there. In just the next 10 to 14 days, basically the feet will be adult size already. Okay, so last but not least, yep, here we go. You can look around. As I'm going to do its bill length, or the exposed culmen. And basically just gently take the bill. Yeah, it's lost its egg tooth now, so it's definitely maturing. And you just want to do it very gentle. You want to work with the bird. Stay calm. If you're calm and not high, strung out or nervous around it, the birds pick up on those feelings, and if you're calm, generally the bird will stay calm. Okay, and you see it's just exploring. So 27.2. It's 27.2 millimeters. So yeah, it's really growing fast. I'd say this guy right here, this little one is ahead of the curve. It's growing faster than normal because he's being fed. He's got very good parents, and it's being fed really well. You could see these tiny little wings. So yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that this bird, in not much more than another month or so, about 4 to 5 weeks, will have a wingspan of well over a meter. About 38 feet, 38 inches. 38 feet. That would be a pterodactyl. 38 inches or so. And we'll be soaring hundreds of miles out to sea looking for squid and flying fish and such like that, with a formidable orange bill that can be up to 55 millimeters or so in length. And they have very large dark eyes. They protrude slightly to give them excellent binocular vision, and that's how they judge. They fly at about 100 feet, 150 feet, and they look for squid and fish just under the surface, and they dive straight down, almost vertically on them, and are able to judge just how far under the surface they are so they can grab them. So their eyes, they have a totally different feeding strategy than the cahao. The cahao is a night feeder or a dusk feeder. It's called Crespuscular Feeder, and they pick up their prey by scent, and by bioluminescence. A lot of the prey they eat is, glows in the dark. These guys are totally diurnal or daytime hunters, and they hunt by sight. More or less. Just very, very good vision. Yeah, see, he's very nonplussed about it. Does he look worried to you? Not remotely. He's kind of chilling. He likes it. Kind of likes a breeze, Keeps those pesky little flies and bugs away that are always buzzing around him. If he's like last year's chick, he'll start actively trying to snap up those flies and stuff and chase them around the nest and everything. They really don't like things buzzing around them. But yeah, he's looking good. Everything looks very well for him, so it should be really interesting and neat to just follow the development of this chick over the next 5 weeks or so before it is ready to fly out to sea. You'll see it get increasingly large, eventually as big as the adult, and increasingly aggressive to the point where it just, will abandon all pretense of politeness and just grab the adult by the bill and literally beat the daylights out of it until it disgorges the food, at which case the adult has to flee for its life almost, unless it gets dragged back and jabbed at again. But yeah, they are really just neat, interesting birds. Okay, well, let's get him back in. I think we've had him out long enough. He seems very happy to just be out here. I'll make sure I get him back, obviously, in the right one. So, let's see. Here we go. Make sure I get him nice and far back. Yeah. Okay, so everything looks great with him. The other two chicks are younger, and I'm not going to bother them today simply because both of them have the adults in with them brooding. If you try to take the adult out, well, you have to take the adult out to get the chick out. The adult is often very protective of the chick, starts just shrieking and jabbing at you with bloody results for your fingers and such, but also there's the danger that the adult could inadvertently hit the chick by accident and literally kill it with one peck, because they have pretty awesome bills and they know how to use them. So as a result, I generally will only take the chicks out unless, if the parent is absent. It avoids stressing the birds, and once the chick is very well grown, then you can do it, because the chick can more than defend itself at that point. But the parents, yeah, they are incredibly protective, and they spend much more time in the nests with their chicks than cahals, simply because they have to defend their chicks and their nest. Other young longtails looking for nests will come in, kill a young chick, and take over the nest. It's not all that uncommon, and it has happened before to these nests here. So that's why they tend to spend more time. Okay, so everything looks good, and we'll move on to the cahals, and I think we're going to be banding some of the first cahals today, cahal chicks, I should say. But yeah, the longtail season well underway. They're flying about off the island here, and it's going to end up with lots and lots of chicks that we'll be monitoring every day here. Okay, let's move on.